Hey everybody, this is Jack Scullin of Scullin Media, and this is the first lesson of my beginner's music lesson series, where we'll discuss music theory and the concepts behind making music and understanding music. And the first lesson today will be the most basic concept in music, in my opinion, and the building blocks of music and understanding scales, chords, melodies, and a great introductory lesson to music to begin your journey the right way. And today we'll be discussing intervals. So without further ado, let's do.
So in this first music lesson of my beginner music lesson series, we're going to start with the most basic and fundamental concept in music, and that is intervals. And the reason intervals are the building block of music is because this will help you understand the relationship between one note and the other, specifically relative to the tonic note. And what a tonic is that's what we call the home pitch, or the foundation pitch of any scale or chord. But we're going to talk about it in terms of scales. So for instance, if we're playing a C major scale, our tonic will be C. And if we're playing an F major scale, our tonic will be F. So basically, it is the note that is the foundation of a chord scale, and that's how we understand the relativity of intervals. So what I have outlined here is called the chromatic scale. And a chromatic scale is basically every available note between one pitch and the exact same pitch a register higher. So a way to visualize this is if you're on a piano and you play a note, you'll play that note, and if you play every single available pitch from that starting note all the way until you hit the same note an octave higher, that would be the chromatic scale. So we'll start out when we talk about intervals where our tonic note we denote it as the 1. And the first available pitch in the chromatic series from 1 going up in pitch would be a C sharp or a D flat. And these two notes are the exact same, but you can interpret them differently based on what key you're playing in. And what we call this in music would be enharmonic pitches. So an enharmonic pitch is basically where you can interpret a note two different ways, but it's the exact same pitch. And so from C to a C sharp or D flat, this figure, this number symbol denotes a sharp and a lowercase b denotes a flat, would be a half step away. So if you play one pitch and you go up a pitch or down a pitch, it would and it'd be the closest note available. That would be a half step away, either going up or down. And this interval from C going up half step to C sharp or D flat would be a minor second. Furthermore, if we go from C to a D, then that would be a whole step. So a whole step is equivalent to 2 half steps. Think of a half step as 50%. So if you add 50 plus 50%, you have 100%. So that would be the whole step. And from C to D is a major second. And I'll play for you what that sounds like. So if we start on C, going up a half step to a minor second would sound like this. Kind of like Jaws. And if we go up from C to D, a major second, that'll sound like this. And if we continue this, we go from C to a D sharp or E flat, so another enharmonic pitch. That would be a minor third. And just like our minor second and major second, there's a minor third and a major third. So if you go from C up 3 half steps, that would be a minor third. And if you go from C up 4 half steps, that would be a major third. And that sounds like this. So first I'll play a minor third. And here's a major third. And if we continue, going from C to an F would be a perfect fourth. And we denote it as a perfect fourth because there isn't a minor or major variation. There's only 1/4. And that goes up 5 half steps from your original pitch. So a perfect fourth will sound like this. Next, we have what we call a tritone, and this is also known as the devil's interval because it is the most dissonant sounding interval available in the chromatic series. Dissonant meaning it has the most darkness and tension. So the opposite of dissonance is consonance. So the most consonant pitches you can play together would be a C and a C because they're the exact same pitch, just in different registers. And similar to how we have enharmonic pitches, we also have enharmonic intervals. So we can interpret this tritone as F sharp and G flat, so those are enharmonic pitches, but we can also interpret it as enharmonic intervals. So this symbol right here, the plus sign, denotes an augmented interval. So an augmented interval is where we take an interval and we raise it a half step. So this perfect fourth, we can interpret the tritone, since we raise it a half step, as an augmented fourth. Similarly, a diminished interval is denoted by taking a pitch or an interval and lowering it a half step. So we can denote it as a diminished fifth, denoted by this small circle. So we take our perfect fifth and we lower it a half step. And we also have a perfect fifth. So that is C to G. And that is, besides the octave, the most consonant sounding interval in the chromatic series. So I will play the difference between a tritone and a perfect fifth. And you'll notice one is very jarring and the other one is very consonant. So this is a tritone. There's a reason they call it the devil's interval. And if we play a perfect fifth, it'll sound like this. Very consonant sounding. And as we continue, we'll discuss the next available interval, which is a minor sixth or a major sixth. So just very similar, or the exact same concept as a minor second, minor third, major third. We have a minor sixth, and then up a half step is a major sixth. And that will sound like this. A minor sixth and a major sixth. And as we continue, we have a minor seventh, which is an A sharp or a B flat, or a major seventh, which is B, and a major seventh is also called the leading tone because that pitch, as I'll play for you in a moment, you can hear that it really wants to lead into the tonic note an octave higher. And it has the most drive, and when I play it, I'm sure in your head you'll want to resolve that in your head, that dissonance. So here's a minor seventh, and here's a major seventh, or the leading tone. In your head, you want that to go to the tonic. And last interval is the octave, which is a perfect eighth. And in this series, these are what we call simple intervals. So intervals within the same one octave scale. But certain chords borrow intervals outside of this one octave scale, and we call those compound intervals. And what a compound interval is basically an interval that is a simple interval, but it is past the octave. So it'll be 9, 11, 13, and you'll see chords like a C9 or a B flat 11. And basically, that is just playing one of the simple intervals, but an octave higher. And the way we can figure out what interval is being played an octave higher is with this simple formula. So we have our compound interval with C minus 7 equals our simple interval. So if we're playing a C9, to figure out what this pitch is, we simply just do 9 minus 7 equals 2. So a C9 has the major second, D, an octave higher. And now let's talk about constructing the 4 basic triad chords. I discussed this, or I will discuss this in later videos, but I'd like to introduce this topic while we're discussing intervals, because each of these triads is constructed of either 2 major or minor thirds. So the first one we have is a major triad, which is constructed of a major third and a minor third. So if we're on C, we go up a major third, which would be E, and then we go up a minor third, which is 3 half steps away to our perfect fifth. So that means a C major triad would be C, go up a major third to E, then go up a minor third to G. So a major triad will sound like this. As you can hear, that's very happy, very consonant. And the next chord we'll talk about is a minor triad. And this is where, from our C, from our tonic note, we go up a minor third, and then we go up a major third. So it's a major triad, but reversed. So we go up from C, a minor third, to E flat, and then we go up a major third, which would be the same pitch, a G. So the only difference between a major triad and a minor triad is that instead of a major third, we're doing a minor third, but the fifth is the exact same. So the only pitch that's altered is our major third is taken down a half step to a minor third. So that'll sound like this. Next, let's talk about diminished triads. A diminished triad is the most dissonant sounding triad out of these 4, and it is constructed of 2 minor thirds. So we have our C, we go to an E flat, and then we go up another minor third to this tritone, or diminished fifth. And that will sound like this. And lastly, we'll end the lesson discussing an augmented triad, which is denoted by that addition sign or plus sign, and a diminished triad is denoted by that small circle. So an augmented triad is 2 consecutive major thirds. So we have our C, we go to a major third, which is E, and then we go up another major third, which would be, it could be a minor 6, but how we were discussing earlier, if we take a pitch and raise it a half step, how we did our fourth, and we
and it became our tritone augmented fourth. If we take our perfect fifth and go up a half step, that is an augmented fifth.
And that will sound like this. Awesome. Well, that is our lesson on intervals for the day. And if you enjoy this music lesson, I will continue to make more videos of this beginner's lesson series. So stay tuned, and please watch in order so that you understand the last lesson, because each consecutive lesson will build off the last. And if you enjoyed this lesson or series, comment below with any questions, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more music lessons. Toodle-doo.